641, welcome back. Today, the New Orleans City Council's Criminal Justice Committee will meet with members of the community. It comes after Sunday's shootings during a second line, the 9-time second line. The coroner has confirmed the identity of the two people killed. 21-year-old Rayshawn Carter, 19-year-old Malachi Jackson, both gunned down there on the Almonaster Bridge, the second of two unrelated shootings, according to investigators. One person did survive that shooting. 45 minutes before that, 10 others were hurt in that separate incident on Almonaster near Franklin. The NOPD does tell us that they have a person of interest in custody. They also say that they issued 8 search warrants and collected 4 guns since Sunday. This morning, we are joined now by City Councilman Oliver Thomas of District E. Councilman Thomas will lead that Criminal Justice Committee meeting this afternoon. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, and good morning to your listening audience.
And you last night, I was scrolling through Instagram, and you posted onto your social media, getting the community's word about tonight's meeting. Ultimately, what do you want the goal to be?
I mean, I actually want to build on the comments that were made by Sharice Harrison, one of you guys anchors here, is that we can't commingle violence with our culture. And the organizations that participate in social and pleasure clubs and second lines, they can't, in many cases, control the actions of a few people who go out there to disrupt our culture, to disrupt our joy. So I don't want to see the community blamed. But the other thing I want to do is let's get together with law enforcement. Let's talk about some rules, let's code of conduct, best practices about how we can have a parade, make it safer, make sure we have the right amount of security out there, but also let's make sure that the culture can continue and not be blamed for the foolish acts of some people who want to bring their violence to our public events.
You got a few things there because organizers had to place themselves on the defense after a statement was made by the police chief on Sunday night that particular second line had some concerns in the past, and it came out that actually that wasn't in fact the case. So moving aside from whether it's...
But that's the important part about understanding our culture and understanding our history. We have so many people who don't now. If you would have listened to those comments, and the chief corrected those comments,
sure,
you would have thought that from the Mother's Day parade shootings to the Bunny Friends shootings to what happened Sunday, all of it was the same, and it wasn't. And it wasn't associated with that club.
And talking about other things, NOPD recovered guns and whatnot from that, but also talking about the new concealed carry law and potential complications there. Technically in New Orleans, a permitted event, the guns are forbidden. What can you do to prevent the weaponry from being there, or are we just wasting time with that conversation?
Well, I don't know that we can prevent people from legally carrying weapons. If you're carrying them or brandishing them illegally, then if we have security out there who notices that, they can do something. But more importantly, let's talk about how we construct the parades. How many officers are important? What are the routes, right? How do we do crowd control? Our city that we're from is one of the best in the world at dealing with crowd control. How do we make sure these incidents don't get out of hand, especially when some are larger than usual? How do we talk about security? Can we also now work with the sheriff, the constable, and other law enforcement agents to make sure that we have enough people out there, especially if they're bigger than usual? Look, I was the king of the buck jumpers back in the day. We had almost 15,000 people out. My wife and I were king and queen of the Treme Sidewalk Steppers. We had over 10,000 people out. Nothing happened, right?
Right, and that speaks to the fact that mainly things don't happen there other than a good time. So it's important for community members to come out
This is
tonight.
part of our culture. There are some people who don't understand it. There are some people who are talking about regulating it. Katie Reckdahl, who wrote from the Picayune, reminded me that years ago, we helped lead an effort to make sure that they weren't placing these exorbitant fees on the club and making it more difficult for them to parade. The people who get involved in these violent acts, they don't represent our culture. They don't represent the peace, right, and the tradition that these parades that we're part of stand for. We shouldn't commingle them.
All right, want to move on because this is a busy day. Got that meeting, but also the council set to vote today on the budget for next year. That revised $1.8 billion budget, essentially greenlighting Mayor Cantrell's proposal, but also adding some $69 million from surplus funding, and that's going to homeless services, NOLA Public Schools, affordable housing. Let's talk about NOLA Public Schools for a second. The announcement this week that there was an agreement made, $10 million in one part, $10 million on the second part, but also on the other end, there's this $36 million potential budget deficit here on NOLA Public Schools. Just what are your thoughts on that and what's being done in terms of managing the district's finances?
Well, the good thing about what the council is doing, it's unfortunate, bad accounting on on the hand by the public school system shouldn't punish our kids. So we're stepping in to try to mitigate and help that. I would hope that moving forward, that the superintendent, the chief financial officer, and the school board would gain better control on their accounting so that mistakes like this wouldn't happen. We can't afford to have our children suffer because of the mistakes, professional mistakes, internal mistakes, other mistakes of public officials.
Real quick, also looking at some of the proposals, you know, you had the IG report about public works and the traffic lights. No proposed budget increase for them. So how do we fix the problem?
Well, we're going to keep taking a look at that. Traffic is a main issue. I've personally talked to the chief about traffic control. There are many people out of the city now. Red light doesn't mean stop, and a stop sign doesn't mean stop. They just continue to move around, and they're causing accidents. They're affecting our insurance rates. We need to deal with that.
And I know we only have like maybe 20 seconds left. Got some great stuff going on in District E as we get into the holiday
absolutely.
season.
Man, we have so many events, turkey giveaways, clothing giveaways. You know, we're asking people to come out and participate. And shout out to all those nonprofits, man, and philanthropists who are using this season, right? Not just a season to be jolly, but a season of Thanksgiving and a season, if you've been blessed, to show God's mercy and grace. Look, we need people who have done well to make sure that, especially not just this season, but 360 days of the year, to make sure that we're taking care of our citizens that need help.
All right, thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And that meeting, the criminal justice meeting, it's going to begin at 2:15 this afternoon inside City Council chambers.